that enough? Okay, I turned off NVIDIA Instant Replay and OBS now recording, so we are good to go, I think. I hope. So let's see. Still good? Still good. Okay. Hello, everyone. I have a slideshow for you. I am Professor Cheshire. I use she, her, they, them pronouns, and I am here to teach you how to fight themstament. What to do when you're faced with a non-binary person with significantly more swag than you. Thank you, thank you.
Very true, very true.
It's the top hat.
It's the top hat. I mean, it's also the cravat and the skirt and the nice boots and the big-ass scythe and the bird. The bird completes the look.
And honestly, the forklift certification is what completes
Oh, the forklift certification absolutely ties it together. So, here's your goal. Your goal is to ask Testment's pronouns so you can beat the shit out of them and then talk shit about them using the correct pronouns, of course. Because we wouldn't be disrespectful, would we? Thank you, Death Gifts. Very cool. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And of course, this will be your brain on knowing how to beat Testament. Everyone has a soul bad guy in them, just waiting to get out. So, Lesson 1, Grave Reaper. Grave Reaper is the cornerstone of playing Testament. It is pressure, it is neutral, it is Okizeme, it is a combo tool, it is set play. Grave Reaper is Testament. And frequently, at basically any range, Testament is going to be throwing Grave Reaper at you. But there's a couple ways around this. The biggest one that I don't see anyone ever do is an instant air dash, IAD for short. So I'm going to switch back over here to wonderful Guilty Gear Strive. Let me just make sure this popped open on OBS as well. Hello. This is Testament. That is also Testament. Everyone kind of understand? Everyone kind of gets the idea? Yeah? Testament, hello. Shake hands, shake hands.
Drippy, drippy.
So.
Yeah, I love that skin.
Thank you. It's based off Gordo from Under Night and Birth, you know, the other side wielder. So let's see here. What's Testament going to do? Grave Reaper. Are they going to throw it? A lot. And you might be thinking, goodness, how do we get around this? Especially because you're thinking, oh, they're just going to 6P me. Well, let me show you a little trick here. Just jump. Literally just jump. Here, I'll show you. The recording is set to Grave Reaper 6P, right? But if I just, you know, go over here, not like that. Don't do that. You can pretty much, from most distances, just jump straight over Grave Reaper if you're predicting it. And quite frankly, it's not that hard to predict. Testament those Grave Reaper a lot. You're like, oh, I'm standing at this range. What's Testament going to do? Grave Reaper, Arbiter side. It's one of those things. And to be honest with you, just jumping beats both of them.
Is it about putting, like, pressing a preemptive button in your air dash? Is that the idea?
Mostly just the air dash itself. Just going for an IAD, which is just jump air dash pretty much immediately. So the idea is, like, as soon as you so much as see Grave Reaper, you just go in there and swing. Because they can't 6P you out of it, they can't get an up Grave Reaper. The only time they're going to get that is if they've already read you jumping in because you reacted too slow.
Okay, so it's like a speed problem. Okay. If you're getting it, if you're jumping, IADing, and they're getting 6P off in time, it's because you're being too slow.
Pretty much.
Or spacing. What is the, if you IAD and block 6P, where does that put you?
That would put
like
you if...
They're doing Grave Reaper 6P, and you're, like, spaced weirdly or not confident, so you're blocking instead.
That's going to put you with a lot of bounce. That was a regular jump. That was a regular block for the record. That wasn't a faultless defense. It put me about to right back where I started. So,
okay.
6P, a lot of pushback. I can actually... If you're on the ground by the time you get there, you're not going to get pushed back very far, but if you're still in the air when it happens, you're going to get launched pretty far. You're still covering distance, of course. And I wish there was a quicker way to switch back and forth between these, but not really.
Also, you may want to lower the quality of your stream ever so slightly. Usually if you do a little bit lower quality in like 30 FPS, I was getting some frame drops because of connection stuff.
No, that'll do it. 720p, 30 FPS. That's still readable?
Yeah,
yeah.
Perfect.
All right, wonderful. So lesson 2. Unholy Diver, more commonly referred to as Crow, and Stain State. Number 1, please jump. I beg you. A lot of people, when they just have Succubus on screen, they get a crow thrown at them, they just stand there and block it, and that gets you stained. Let me be clear. Stain is Testament's win condition. You do not want to be purple. So what you want to do is you want to jump. You can jump clean over the Succubus, you won't take the hit. And yeah, Testament can read you and go for a charged crow, which will just go in a straight line on top of the screen. But a lot of the hitbox of the crow is actually connecting with the Succubus. Without connecting the Succubus, it's not going to really, have that big of a hitbox, and you can dodge it pretty easily. And even if you jump and still get stained, it's not that big of a deal, because at least the attempt was made to get rid of it, to avoid it. Another thing is very important is when Succubus is out and Crow is thrown, it's going to go at some very weird angles. So if Testament tries throwing Crow at you from, say, a little shorter than mid-screen, you're going to be able to, go under it pretty easily. Especially if you're playing a character like, for example, Baiken or Soul, who have very good low-profile moves, swing right under it. It's got a weird angle, just go for it. And when Stain State is out on you, here's the thing. It's now Testament's turn. Testament's like, hey, you're purple now. Anything you do is a very big risk. If you get up close and run pressure against Testament, Stain doesn't go away on block. Stain only goes away if Testament gets hit or Testament hits you. So if you start running your pressure against Testament and you're still purple, if Testament manages to Abare out of it, they're going to go full combo. And anytime they pop you a Stain, it's probably a wall break. At the very least, it's going to be a decent chunk of your health gone. Important thing to note, if you look on Dustloop, you'll see, it says Stain less for 300 frames. But I don't know what that means. But if you think about it, Celtic Gear Strive runs at 60 frames per second, so 300 divided by 60, 5 seconds. So you'll be stained for 5 seconds. And you're probably thinking, wow, 5 seconds, that's not that long of a time. But we're talking fighting game time here. 5 seconds might as well be like an eternity. So yeah, you can wait it out, but you're going to be on the back foot the entire time, and most of the time, you don't want to be half screen against Testament. That's not really good for you. That's good for them.
I think that one of the big things about Stain State too is, if you're okay with me chiming in, I've done the math. It's not technically reactable, but you should lab for a Testament doing Grave Reaper into Crow, because it's incredibly punishable, and characters like Kai and Soul, who have a fast, low profile advancing move, Kai can almost, if you have fast reactions, Kai can on reaction stun dipper every time Testament throws Crow and beat Crow every single time.
Hold on, I just choked on water. Help.
Oh no.
So,
Network's dying.
how does, does Stain actually interact with Testament's plus frames? Or is it just that when Stain expires, it acts as a hit?
It just counts as a hit. It doesn't directly interact with their plus frames so much as it just counts as a hit independent of Testament, therefore making them plus through that.
The best way to think about it is it essentially adds 23 frames of plus frames to any move that hits. The only move that's fast enough for there to be a gap are Testament's P buttons. So you can actually hit a JP, and then they'll try to mash, and it won't be a true block string. So there's actually a gap on the punch buttons, or 2P or JP or 5P. But apart from that, it's almost always a true block string, and is about 23 frames of advantage.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Anything else on Stain?
Pop on hit? Does it trigger the pop on hit, or it doesn't trigger on block, right?
Pop triggers on block.
Oh, it does? Okay.
It doesn't go, so Stain doesn't go away if Testament blocks an attack, but Stain will pop if Testament hits you even if you're blocking. So if I just make sure, yep, set to all guard.
3 frames to the first time block or get hit by than Testament.
Pretty
The
much.
first moves that they do.
If you block a stain hit, there's no move that doesn't like just hit you or frame trap you after that, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. Anything else on stain? We're good there? All right. Wonderful. So, possession, better known as teleport. This can only be used when Succubus is out, and Testament will only teleport to the Succubus. If the Succubus is not out, or if they hold the kick button, they can instead feint teleport, which will, have the particle effect, but Testament will not move anywhere. There's also a small amount of invulnerability frames, but there's not enough to really worry about, unless the Testament is just really reading like a book, in which case, put down a controller. I mean, it's over by then. So let me be clear. This is 16 frames of startup with 19 frames of recovery. If Testament teleports at you, mash. All right? I want you to listen to me very carefully. Mash if you see the screen move. If Testament's like suddenly from here to over there, please mash. You are plus 1,000,000. And even if Testament like just feints a teleport and you just kind of swing at them anyways, most buttons are not going to be able to be punished by Testament at that range unless you threw something very slow, which honestly you probably shouldn't have anyway. In most specific cases, Testament's going to throw you out of teleport because it's 2 frames, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. 2 frames startup.
Yep, 2 frames.
Yeah. So typically throws their fastest option because they're going to teleport to you while you're top of the Succubus. So, if you see Testament teleport, mash, throw them, just do something. Do not let them throw you. I get this so many times. I just teleport into throw. It works so often, it really shouldn't. Next up.
Do they have any, I assume not because it's so slow, but you don't have any like teleport feint options on wake up or anything like that, right?
No, it's too slow for that to happen.
Okay. There is one, and we'll get to it later. But that it's really the only thing you have to worry about, like them using like the iframes on teleport for.
It's not even a wake up option. It's a hard read. Yeah.
Yeah. Teleport is the ultimate. Just like if you get hit by something in teleport, that Testament is just nastier than you, and you got to take the L.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's because you can. I think that there is a prediction level where you actually beat, even if the Testament is mashing throw, you get the throw instead of the Testament. If it's trying to teleport throw you,
it's pretty easy to do that. Actually, as someone who's ran the mirror quite a few times, it is very easy to get that throw off as long as you're not doing anything. The only time teleports is going to actually teleport into throws going to actually beat something is if Testament preemptively beats a whiff button. Like most frequently it's against Nagoriyuki, he just throws out 5H at mid-screen. I just teleport behind them and throw them because there's nothing you can do about it. He's in recovery.
I have another question.
Of course.
So because Testament can only teleport to the Succubus, right?
Mm-hmm.
The only time that they're likely to do like a teleport throw kind of setup is if you're standing on the Succubus. So is that generally like when you should be looking for those teleport reads, or baiting out Testament's teleport by intentionally walking on the Succubus or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Another important thing is, depending on the situation, some Testaments use teleport as more of a getaway tool. It's something I'll do sometimes. So for example, I'm throwing out Grave Reaper from half the screen away, and other players running at me, I'll just teleport around because that just keeps the distance when they're closing in on me. And that's readable in some scenarios. It depends on spacing and what buttons you have and frame data and all that fun stuff. But you want to keep an eye on the Succubus, and if you see the screen suddenly shift, you can just start throwing at the Succubus. Pretty often, if you just throw a button, because of the fact that buttons go either direction, it's not gonna. If you press a button after the teleport happens, it's gonna just swing towards the teleport.
That's a very RPSable situation, because something that Jin and Plutao do all the time, because they know for me, if I get a mash, if I'm in the corner and you're doing corner pressure on me and I mash out, I'll immediately Grave Reaper and try to teleport out of the corner. So what they'll do is they'll just sit on the succubus and they'll wait for me to try to teleport, as that's them like threatening that space. But that does give me the option of instead like doing the RPS of throwing Crow there, and then they get hit by the Crow, and that's a little bit of a sketchy situation. But it's RPSable, but it's very in your favor, because if you just stand on the succubus, like you're for the most part, like you should be able to jump the Crow and grab if they teleport.
Okay, that makes sense.
So next up is the wonderful, the dreaded Arbiter Sign. So I find it interesting if you stop thinking about this like so much as a mix-up tool, because it's really not. It's more of like a poke. Just think of it as like a very big normal more than anything else. What you need to remember is a couple of important things. Number one, the overhead version of Arbiter Sign is slower by a few frames. Don't remember the exact numbers, but significantly. So typically, if you're expecting an Arbiter Sign, you want to block low and then block high on reaction. Because assuming you're seeing it coming, you can do that. The weird thing about Arbiter Sign, though, is it forces you to look at your own character, not your opponent. Normally want to keep your eyes on your opponent, see what they're doing, try and plan around that. Arbiter Sign forces you to look towards yourself, and that's just kind of part of Testament's mental stack. A lot of the time they're trying to catch you off guard more than anything else. So it's just another thing to keep track of when things are happening. An important thing, Arbiter Sign has tracking, but is limited tracking. If you're playing a character who is decently quick, you can just run straight at Testament if you're expecting an Arbiter Sign, and Arbiter Sign's enough cover that you can probably just get a full combo off them. Another thing, you can jump it. If you see Arbiter Sign coming, just jump, because it means you auto-guard both versions of it. And if you're really good, you can fuzzy jump it, and I think in some specific scenarios where Arbiter Sign can't just be straight up normally jumps, you can fuzzy jump it, but I don't know how to fuzzy jump very well, so don't really quote me on that. The high version of Arbiter Sign, if you are certain it's going to happen, you can 6p through it. It's happened to me before. It hurts my soul to see it happen, but you can 6p through high Arbiter Sign. And if you're trying to approach Testament, it's not a bad idea trying to throw out a button while also negating their own. I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but the big thing about Arbiter Sign is you want to think about when it's going to happen more than trying to actually block it. Because if you think, oh, they're going to throw Arbiter Sign here, it's a decently slow button. You might be able to punish it at some ranges. You might be able to just run through it or jump up above it. Because for myself, for example, I throw it in corner pressure a lot once I'm pushed away from the opponent outside of, for example, far slash range. Or I'll throw it at mid-screen when after staining the opponent, because it's just an easy poke, gets me some easy chip damage, maybe a combo if I'm decently close enough. So you want to think about your opponent and think, when and where are they doing Arbiter Sign? Any questions?
Because like you have with jump, you kind of have an option that beats both Arbiter Signs, so it's not really like a mix-up tool in that instance. It's like, am I gonna get hit by an Arbiter Sign, and then if I'm gonna get hit by an Arbiter Sign, it's a 50-50 shot of whether I get hit high or low. But instead, I could just be trying to not get hit by the Arbiter Sign at all if I'm paying attention to when I think the opponent's gonna try and use Arbiter Sign.
You are giving up frames in that situation. So Arbiter Sign normally is 35 frames of recovery and is minus 12 on block if you don't have stain. And so in the situation that you're like jumping or fuzzy jumping like that, you are at giving over a little bit more frame advantage, so you're a little bit closer to just neutral there. So that's worth thinking about. It's a very good option as like a layer 1, but if you can fuzzy it, absolutely fuzzy it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Next up.
You're killing it.
Thank you.
Hey, the aforementioned crouching idiot.
Wow, really?
I knew it.
Thou hast been summoned.
Hang out in the chat long enough.
I wanted you to
Abby
know.
will show up.
I told them all. I was like, if we just sit in this chat long enough, Crouching Idiot will be here in about 30 minutes.
Wait, really? That was really cool. I can't believe you guys listen. I came to tell y'all a great story it's very short.
We're
Wait,
not in story time right now.
Yeah, we're in learning mode.
We're
currently
doing a little bit of
recording.
an event.
Oh,
We're
now
recording.
I just know that it was 20-1. It was not close.
I
Hang out
believe
if you want to learn about Testament. You should.
I
hang
do
out
want to
on-
learn Testament. I will
Yeah.
learn about
Okay.
Testament. I hate 6P with my entire heart.
Yeah, get in here. Well, Cheshire is
Oh.
running through some counter strategy stuff right now.
Most Nostrovia.
As
Dude,
you
I
were,
post
Cheshire.
Nostrovia every couple hours, honestly.
So, I'm just gonna switch back over to my game for this, just because it's like, kind of easier to demonstrate. So, just really switch the default stuff here. So, is it switching? I can't tell it's switching.
Oh no.
Yeah.
This
No.
is your wage inequality in the United States.
Whoops! This should not be showing my wage inequality in the United States slide. Why is it showing my wage equality?
Hold on.
Okay, this is Guilty Gear
When
Strive.
I'm learning the Testament matchup.
We'll get to that in a second, alright?
Yeah.
So, this has happened to everyone. You're in the corner, Testament lands something, and the women come out, and you're like, oh god, I hate women, but can't do anything, just gotta hold it. And now you have to stop and think, what is Testament going to do next? You are stained, you are in hard knockdown. This is Testament's game at this point, and you have to stop and think, what is going to happen next? There's a couple options here. IEDJH is a pretty freak one. They're going to go on for some pressure, get in here, get you back in the corner. You just got out of the corner, and now you're back in it pretty much immediately. But, it's what happens. I gotta...
Safe jump.
We'll get to that.
Yes.
Okay.
The answer is yes and no. Yeah.
And you can technically do the positive bonus looping with that. That pushes you into the corner on block string, where it's like you can start using Red RC in your positive bonus to just be positive for the rest of the game.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So, what Testament's going to do frequently is an IED JH. And if I'll set us all guard just to keep things going. They can go high, or they can go low. Both of those things, it's a straight 50-50 at this point. I believe it's also fuzzy jumpable, but, it depends, can you fuzzy jump or not. But a very important thing to notice here. IED JH has a JH and a JD, I should specify it, has a much higher award than IED JH and a 2K. So, again, straight 50-50, but if you had to guess which is which, block high, because it's probably going to work out better for you to get 2K than to get 5D, or JD, sorry. But another important thing, a lot of people are going to try to backdash once Testament tries to jump at you. Don't. You're going to get hit, it's going to pop stain, it's not a fun time for anyone. Well, no, actually, that's a lie. It's a very fun time for Testament. It's not going to be a very fun time for you. So, is this a safe jump? I'm taking bets. I want... Oh, actually, we already answered this. I can't take bets on this, can I?
No, you can still take bets on it.
No.
You can still take bets on it. Do you have the picture, or do you need me to find the picture? I can.
Is it like one of those sometimes it's a safe jump, sometimes it's not a safe jump things?
I don't need the picture because I think I've got this written down here. Basically, I don't want to do numbers because it's supposed to be just a basic rundown, but
Fair.
This is a safe jump against any reversal that is slower than 9 frames. If it's 9 frames or faster, it wins. If it's slower than that, Testament's gonna safe jump you, and you don't want that because you're currently stained. By remind you, so you're getting a close/stain pop, and then it's back to the wall through.
Okay, so it works against Kai DP, but it doesn't work against Soul DP.
If memory serves, it loses to Kai's /DP, but beats his HDP.
It's the same for
right.
both of the characters. It beats
Same for
both
Soul.
of their slow DPs, but loses to both of their fast DPs.
Gotcha.
So that's a knowledge check for you. It's which DP are they going to use? Or which DP am I going to use if you are the one in this case? So yeah, just check the frame data on whatever reversal you may have, see if it's 9 frames or faster, and then just like, if you realize, hey, this is 9 frames or less, well, let it swing, because it's going to beat the crap out of Testament. That's probably the best case scenario for if you land that reversal, to be honest. So yeah, I believe that it's like Soul's SDP, Kai's SDP, Sen's DP, not RTL, doesn't beat RTL. Most reversal in this game, it's a safe jump, but a couple of them it's not.
Yeah, it beats a lot of supers, but some of the faster ones, like Mortabato, obviously, it doesn't beat.
Forget
You
Mortabato.
just don't have an option against Mortabato.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's the other thing. This is the other thing Testament can do. If in this case I'm thinking, oh, I'm fighting a Kai or a Soul or someone I really don't want to risk eating a DP, there's a plan B. Just take Nostrovia, go through the wall, the usual. Business as usual. It's gonna do a little run up. And then do Microdash Arbiter Sign. So in this specific instance, you cannot jump over Arbiter Sign. I just realized I've not had DLC gear on OBS. It's fine. It's fine. This happens.
Raya does this one all the time, the Microdash Arbiter Sign.
Yeah, because Microdash Arbiter Sign is, for one, it's safe. You try to throw reversal, Testament's like still over here, and they're like, oh, you just whiffed a reversal. Looks like you're back in the corner, buddy.
It beats a lot of the DPs that the safe jump loses to, importantly. So like Kai
Exactly.
DP and Soul DP, if they DP, then you get a full punish with Close Slash.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So in that specific instance, you just have to block. You just have to block low, and if you see it comes high, block high. It's just normal Arbiter Sign business. You can't jump it. You might be able to fuzzy it. Don't actually know, but regular jump doesn't beat it in this case. Another important thing to note here is that Testament doesn't get corner carry off this specific instance. You're gonna be around mid screen still. Testament will be plus because it just got a stain pop, but not that plus because Arbiter Sign is slow. So blocking it, not that bad of a scenario for you. Resets to neutral. You take it. You live.
The Testaments that do Microdash Arbiter are just gambling addicts, because if they hit, then they get another full combo Nostrovia through the wall, and you can build enough meter with positive bonus for a second Nostrovia after a Microdash Arbiter hit stain. So it's like it's a very big reward if you get hit, but if you block, it's like almost nothing.
But yeah, it's like kind of like the why not take that risk, because it's you can't punish Testament for throwing it. It's not a risk. The only thing you're losing is giving up, the JHJ80 236H corner. But like, to be honest with you, if they have reversal, it's probably for the best.
And it loses to Mortabato.
Because Mortabato. You have no idea how distraught I am to just have worse Mortabato. I love throwing out Calamity One so much, but like, it's worse Mortabato, and it's so sad.
Actually, I guess follow-up question: what does Testament have as an option to deal with Mortabato after post-wall break? Is it just you have to sit there and do nothing, or?
Well, for post-wall break, the Microdash, I'm pretty sure Microdash Arbiter still works fine. It's out of Mortabato range.
You're too close. You're too close, and Mortabato still hits you, unfortunately.
Does it? I need to test this, actually.
So unfortunately, like, you can manually time your Arbiter without the Microdash, and that will hit.
Okay.
Or you can sometimes do when I'm very afraid of someone using a reversal, I'll do like a backdash Arbiter, which doesn't hit meaty, but is kind of good enough.
Gotcha.
A little bit of live testing.
I don't want to talk about this.
It might be bad. It might be legitimately my bad, because I know that my my Microdash Arbiter doesn't typically hit meaty enough, because Arbiter only has 3 active frames, so it's a super incredibly tight window, and I usually get chicken blocked by people jumping when I do Microdash Arbiter.
It does still get hit by Mortabato.
Yeah.
I see.
Mortabato's messed up.
Privilege.
Block this character.
Yeah, you just dash forward and block, and that's your option against Mortabato.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
At least it's not safe on block like some supers are. I'll take that. Or it's not. It's not. Yeah, it's not safe on block or whiff like a lot of other supers. Okay.
Low arbiter, it can still hit airborne targets, right?
It can if you're in the middle of
If
jumping. Yeah, it'll still. It connects, but it'll be blocked if they're assuming they're jump blocking.
Or I was thinking if you're pressing like a button that makes you airborne, or something like that.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Leo 2D is like an airborne.
It still catches. It has a decent hitbox, yeah.
Okay, cool. Darn.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Next up, wage equality in the United States. Now, see, here I have this handy little pie chart here, and you will see that the bottom 50% of income earners, make about 15%. Back in 1989, made about 15% of all total wages, of all the money in the world, or in the United States. The United States, not the entire world, much as we like to think so. 7.12 trillion totals, adjusting for inflation. But now, 2016, this is old stuff. God, 2016 was, what, 9 years ago?
That was
Thank you.
a long time ago.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure if I look for an actual up-to-date thing, it's probably going to be a lot worse than this, but I don't want to think about it, to be honest with you. Thank you. Very, very, very useful information. Very, very good. So, next up, round start. What is Testament going to do in round start? Round start's actually, in most cases, pretty Testament favored, because most scenarios work out for them pretty well. Typically, if Testament wants to press buttons at round start, the usual instinct monkey press button, go burr, it's going to be 2S. It's got decent range, it's pretty fast, recovers quickly, gets you a Grave Reaper, that's good stuff. Or they'll use Far Slash. Far Slash is pretty good range, but because of how Testament's buttons tend to be slower, it'll lose to a lot of other pokes, and it will lose to 6p. Of course, Testament can always fix 6p themselves, which will be a poke or an IAD jump in. And my personal favorite, IABD to this 6H, which, if you don't understand fighting game gibberish, it's an instant air backdash into a horizontal Grave Reaper. This is very safe for Testament, because, it avoids a lot of buttons. It will leave a succubus on screen, gets a little chip damage in, gets you spaced out away from opponent, all very good stuff. But a jump 2 through 6H, big hurt box, big recovery, and very frequently, if you're like, I think this Testament's going to do backdash to the 6H, you can either just jump at them or run at them, and you'll get a very big punish. You will get corner. Typically, bad situation for Testament, good situation for you. Another important thing, 6H. This is not a frequent round start. It's going to be a bit of a read or a bit of a fuck it, we ball kind of move. Because
That's your pariah playing against me.
It's only on round 5, okay? I do it on the 5th round.
Specifically on round 5, yes, actually.
Pariah is a fuck it, we ball kind of Testament, so,
Yeah.
watch out for that. But 6H, big button, covers a lot of space. It'll catch, I think it catches some backdashes, but not all. It'll catch, some attempts to do something like a jump move or something. It will catch you. You're like, oh,
frames of startup for the record.
23 frames of startup. But if you're like, oh, I'm going to backdash and do something, walk back, do something, do a jump fireball, 6H might catch you. And you don't want to get caught by 6H. It's not a good situation for you. And another thing Testament do is frequently backdash or walk back, just create space. Testament's a zone. They want to create space. They're like, I'm going to be over here. You can stay over there. That's what they want to do. There's a couple of more niche round starts. I think 5k and 2k are used in some matchups, but it's a very specific thing. You don't have to worry about that, really. Next up, the corner RPS. This is just basically what is Testament's game plan when they have you cornered. A lot of the time, it's going to be all of this intermingled with Grave Reaper. It's a lot of Grave Reaper all the time. Again, Grave Reaper is life. But what are they going to throw in between that? They're going to throw out Fire Slash, which will, if you just block it, it's not like it's an unblockable or anything, but if you block that, just means they can continue the pressure. Good stuff for them. Try to dash at them, stops you from doing that. You try and throw a button, most buttons that aren't lows, Fire Slash is going to beat you. But if you try to jump over it, that works. And if you can 6p it because it's a Fire Slash and it's really not that disjointed, You can beat that. 6H on the other hand. Spaces out, beats a lot of buttons, beats immediate 6P, beats jump. But if you just run at Testament, you can usually, beat the frame data, 23 frames, again. Or you can 6P it once you see it coming. Like, if you do 6P immediately, it's going to hit you. But if you kind of see it coming through 6P, you can hit it. And Wonderful 2S here will beat a lot of low-profile moves such as Stun Dipper, because Stun Dipper and Night Ray Vortex are the banes of our existences. Yes, we're going to get into a little bit more advanced stuff. The Kara Cancel corner combo. We're not combo, block string, does a little bit of both. To be frank, I'm just going to open up my game and show you again because it's kind of hard to describe. I'm just going to show you what it looks like. Let's hope I can get this and not, mess up my Kara cancels repeatedly.
I believe in you.
Let's see here. We have it set to all guard. I think counterattack things. That's turned off. That's turned off. Okay. Look at that. First try. So this right here is the Kara block string. Let me impress something on you very clearly. At any point during this nonsense, do not mash. All of these are frame traps. Every single one. If you mash, you're going to eat a corner combo against Testament. If they had meter, you're getting this rope field, then you're going back to the corner. So typically, don't get hit. Right here, do not mash. Alright? You got it? You listening? What did I just say?
Don't mash.
Are there a lot of gaps in it? Or is it gapless too?
There are, I'll get to that, but there are gaps, but it's all frame traps.
Okay, so you can like DP or reversal in there, but you can't match.
Yeah. So typically, you're going to just want to wait the string out, After this Grave Reaper gets thrown, that is your chance to act and try and guess what Testament can do next. They can throw Far Slash, so you can just 6P that. They're going to throw Crow, so you can jump over that. Basically, at that point, this is your chance to act and guess what's going to happen next. But until that point, it's Testament's fair game. But you can very much reversal this. If I just set Calamity 1 on block, that's a true stream because it didn't Kara. But if I Kara, that's a dash cancel, not a Kara. Come on. Chomp. Yeah. Very reversible, but not mashable. So you got a reversal, feel free to throw it out. If you're just that guy, you can beat DP here.
There's a greedy version of this where you continue doing the Kara cancels, and that's just you having to like make that call in RPS. You can technically get, so the greedy version, like if they are deciding to just block the whole thing, right? The greedy version is like you can do close slash Kara, 5k Kara, and you'll crank the risk gauge and do a lot of nasty stuff. If they're doing the repeated Kara cancels, you can mash that. But you have to make sure they're doing that. Otherwise, because Testament off of, if any of these moves hit, Testament gets everything they want.
Basically.
I just forgot my question. Oh, FD. Is this something that you always want to be FDing if possible? Because it gets Testament farther out so that they can't beat the Kara loop, or does it not matter?
Oh, it matters very much, as I'll demonstrate here. See, even on a Kara cancel there, I'm still spaced up pretty far. And I can still act, but all of this is much easier to counter than me doing this. Getting them in your face. But yes, very FDable. Very good if you FD. So yeah, just hold it, just FD it. You can just pretty much disrupt the entire sequence just by FDing. Good stuff. Good question. Very useful.
And you can get into this from 5k on Stain State, and also... So that's kind of the times to watch out for it. Those are the times that you get it for free, at least. If you're letting a Testament run up and close slash you, like you got your own problem. But
oh, absolutely. If Testament gets in close slash range, yeah, something's wrong.
Is there any IB into throw options here as well? Like on defense?
I don't know. Let's test that.
I remember labbing this. I don't think so. Well, no, I think that you can technically, if you IB the close slash and both hits of the Grave Reaper, yeah, then you can throw.
Yeah,
So
but you
have
gotta
to
be a
have
god
slash
gamer to do
and both
that.
hits of the
Okay, I'm not gonna
Grave Reaper,
do that, so I'm not gonna work on that one.
but-
Sorry.
Technically, one of the things that you can do, one of the things to watch out for in this string is just execution errors. If they're not doing the car and instead just do a full dash cancel, you see the sparks, but the Grave Reaper doesn't come out immediately, you can mash or throw on that. One of the things that Joji did to me a lot was I was spacing poorly off of my 5k with Stain State, like dash cancel that sets this up, and was throwing me out of it. Normally, I should be getting a counter hit close slash there, but because my execution was poor, Joji was calling me out and getting a back throw into the corner off of it. It's incredibly risky. It's like the craziest risk you could possibly take, which is why I never expected it. But it does technically exist. Like, if you see an execution error in this string, you can definitely punish it.
Cool.
Man, I'm out of practice my car cancels.
I can't believe Cheshire tells me that Testament isn't country and has this playing on Grave Reaper.
Well, I had it muted. I forgot about that.
Well, this is important. It's like we need content here. We need content. Let me just just kind of. Just take that. Why didn't that? I did not save the recording. Okay.
I mean, a lot of people are afraid of this, the like Grave Reaper spam situation. The thing with the Grave Reaper spam situation is like if they are spamming low Grave Reaper, the only thing that you're afraid of, because you have to IAD in and it smokes them every time, right? Because you have so much recovery. The only thing you're afraid of is that they're going to randomly throw in an H Grave Reaper and catch you in the air. And so if you're like blocking properly while you're air dashing, you should mostly be fine. But like
you have to start your air dash like when you see Testament start up to the Grave Reaper, and not like when the Grave Reaper's halfway across the screen.
When the Grave Reaper's halfway across the screen, you're getting 6p. It's not even a question.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. That makes a lot more sense.
And if they're spamming the Grave Reaper, you just have more opportunities to get that timing right.
True.
We're going to let us be Grave Reaper into Crow, but you can jump over Crow too. It's not that hard.
Yeah, I think I heard that it's like if you get hit by only one hit of the Grave Reaper, you can always jump the Crow, but if you get hit by multiple hits of the Grave Reaper, then you can't jump the Crow or something like that.
Typically, you're not going to be getting hit by multiple hits of Crow unless you're cornered. Or unless like Testament's comboing you, but like, yeah. If Testament combos you and gets Grave Reaper, Crow's basically guaranteed because of hard knockdown.
There are situations that Crow hits meaty. There are like specific setups that Crow hits meaty. The same way there are setups that Grave Reaper hits meaty. But the thing is, like, if you actually get hit by Crow at full screen, hypothetically, there's no actual downside to getting hit by Crow. Because like as long as you're doing a counterplay that would potentially have you dodge the Crow, blocking Crow and getting hit by Crow is a matter of 15 damage. Which, I mean, matters if you're at low health, right? But the getting hit by Crow, it's not like Testament's going to run in and combo you or something, right? Like, even if you RC teleport or whatever, like, there's nothing that will actually get you there in time to combo.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, once again, don't mash. Don't mash. Don't mash. Do not mash. You hear me? Don't mash.
No mashed potatoes.
Either reversal or
just
jump
hold
out,
it.
I assume.
Just
hold
hold it.
or FD.
Yeah, FD,
like
hold it.
That last Grave Reaper has, I think, -2, which is still not that minus. Like, you still have to, like, really RPS there. But you're just you're then in the Testament RPS zone. You basically just have to take this amount of risk for free.
Lost Grave Reaper right here. Yeah, this is your chance to, what do I do next? This is my chance to counter. My chance to throw, okay, I'll throw a 6p, or I'll jump, or I'll just run at them. Because sometimes just running at Testament actually is a solution.
You can run under 6H a lot, actually. Just like,
Oh,
you can,
yeah.
like run up, grab 6H in the corner sometimes.
All right. And I think the last thing on our agenda, 2H. This is very, very simple stuff, but this is a lot of stuff I see people not really know how to interact with. So, important thing, 2H, slow butt. If you see it coming, you can mash. It's pretty easy to mash if you're expecting it, but if you're not, and you kind of like mash a little too late, it's going to be a big counter hit, it's going to be a big combo. So, just kind of like be careful about that. But the important thing about it is if you block. Because there's a couple important things to remember. Number 1, 2H is -3 on block. Number 2, it's a vacuum, so it's going to pull you in close. In a lot of ranges, it's going to pull you into throw range. A lot of Testament players, myself included, love to just do 2H, block, throw. But here's the thing. There's a lot of ways to beat this. If you jump, if you jab, or if you throw in a turn, you win. If you hit throw, you're not going to throw break unless you're slow on the timing. You're going to throw Testament. Frequently, you're getting 2H in the corner. Then you get a nice little back throw incident because they tried to, they thought they were slick, trying to 2H throw you. Throw them back. But once they see that you know how to deal with throw, once they understand that you're not going to fall for their trickery, that's when the real RPS begins. Their next option out of this is a diagonal Grave Reaper. This will either true string, this will either get thrown, or if they are, if memory serves, frame perfect with when they throw 236H. This will frame trap you. This will catch your jump, this will catch your jab, this will catch your throw. I don't think you guys will be fighting any Testaments who, can do frame perfect 236H consistently. I can't do it. I think like Elucid can, but Elucid is kind of like that.
It's a 1-frame manual delay. It's not auto-timed at all. You have to manually delay it by 1 frame to catch throw.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I don't really know how to count, a 60th of a second. And then here's the really fun one. This is the one Pariah showed me. Testament can feint teleport here. If Testament's like, this person is going to throw me out of 2H, you can feint teleport. This is the one time you can really force those invulnerability frames to work for you consistently. Feint teleport, and then your throw will whiff. Testament will point blank at you while you're in recovery. This is bad for you because chances are you'll be cornered. So there's going to be a counter hit, close / in corner by Testament. This is their biggest punish. Let me just demonstrate for you just how nonsensical this is. Just switch screens again, see if it actually works this time.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm incredibly impressed by your ability to demo things in the lab in front of people on command. Like, I can't do that shit.
Let's see. So, I don't know. It's a gift. It's something, all right. So it's gonna be like, oh, we're cornered here, doing some pressure. Gonna throw out 2H. Gonna attempt to throw. Gets thrown, right? We'll throw 236H if I can get the timing right. That's a true string. That's a failed attempt. There's the frame trap. See, it's inconsistent unless you're like really good at the game.
Okay.
But this is the fun one.
And then you die.
And then you die.
The most damage.
I think this is the most damage Testament can spit out.
It is actually. I've never labbed a combo that does more damage than this counter hit.
And remember, 2H builds a decent amount of risk. I think it's like, what, 15-20% risk from 2H alone?
You know what this tells me? This tells me that, like, outside of this situation, don't whiff your grab in front of Testament.
Oh, God, no. Like, Testament's never going to be close / range.
This wacky setup. If you just whiff your grab at, like, mid-screen, then Testament's going to fucking explode you.
Yep.
All right, cool. Good to know.
It's a little bit tighter at if you're in mid screen, you don't have the wall helping you out. But
Okay.
the thing with the 2H is that like you're in grab range there, so you get the ideal close / combo. You get the perfect corner carry. Like you get everything you could possibly want. You can go screen to screen, like
Yeah, like this.
Gotcha.
exactly.
See, even at mid-screen, and even with the Strophic instead of Calamity 1, I lose a whole 6 damage. Plus you're stained now, which is not what you want. So,
Right,
yeah. Testament's damage, typically yes, but you get hit by counter hit close slash, it's over. It's over. Put down the controller. It's done. But another important thing about the RPS here, Testament wants to act in this scenario because this is the RPS. You think, okay, I can do throw, I can do a feint teleport, I can jump if I really feel like doing something stupid. Like, if Testament's things are going to jump, they can just air throw you, and like, that's just being rude, frankly, but it's possible. But typically, Testament wants to act out of this. But here's the thing. If you have a super reversal, you can just reverse the know what they want to do. Beats that, beats throw. Anytime you can ignore the RPS, unless Testament decides to do nothing, which they really shouldn't. Reversal wins. Now, here's an important notice. DPs are not throw invulnerable. Super reversals are, but DPs are not. So I wouldn't DP in the scenario unless you know they're not going to throw. But if you have a super reversal, you basically are playing rock, paper, scissors with a gun at this point.
I have a quick question. Is teleport recovery counter hit recovery, or is it just regular recovery?
It is counter hit recovery, if memory serves. Let's record real quick.
Okay, so if you're in that like teleport feint RPS, if it really becomes a 50-50 of like either you
that's counter hit,
are throwing and they do the feint and then murder you, or you don't do anything and they feint and now they're in counter hit recovery, so you do it back to them.
Oh, that's not counter hit recovery, actually.
Oh, it's not? Okay, never mind.
Like, yeah, it's hell recovery, but yeah, it's minus, but it's not counter hit.
Yeah, it's punishable.
Like even on hit, you're getting a close slash, right? So,
Okay.
Cheshire, this is a great timing. Are you going to talk about 2K2D by chance?
Oh, I wasn't planning on it.
That's so obvious. It might have slipped your mind, and I don't blame you at all because it didn't mine until literally right now. Because it's the same interaction.
Like, what specifically? Are we talking about the fact that there's a gap in it, or what?
So Testament 2K2D has a throwable gap in it. If you're close enough while they're 2K2Ding, you can throw after the 2K, and they won't be able to 2D. Block the 2K, throw the 2D, and it's disgusting. The other thing is it has because of it has that throwable gap. I think it's like 3 frames or 4 frames or something in there. I think it's 3 because I don't think you can mash it with any character. You can reversal it, and like for Leo players, for instance, that's the only Testament counterplay that any Leo player ever learns is to do a flash kick in 2K2D.
Yeah, like you'd be surprised at how many characters in the cast have like a throwable 2K2D.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty rough.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Safe.
That gap
you don't want to be doing that. And Testaments love doing 2K2D. And the only other option out of 2K is like I think that let me double check up because I don't want to spread misinformation online. 2K is -3 on block, so you're not even safe in a lot of situations. So you can't even just like block. You can't like 2K block, and if you 2K, you're still negative. Like there's nothing off of 2K that you can't like get some kind of punish off of.
Another very unfortunate fact because of the gap between 2K 2D, like this is I can't really easily show this in the lab. But for the vast majority of characters, if you both throw 2K and you autopilot 2D, you're going to win, because Testament 2D is slow as hell. In fact, if you clash 2K, chances are Testament loses because they can't really do anything except FD. And I'm not the kind of person who FDs on reaction to clash. The most nonsense thing I'll do is sometimes I'll clash 2K into a Panic Calamity 1. Well, like, I don't know if that's something to worry about.
Wait, can you do something for me real quick?
Yeah.
Can you set them to on block Calamity 1? And then... And then instead of 2K... Or do 2K 2D, and then that hits, right?
Yeah.
Now try 2K 6P.
Two strings.
2K60 is a true block string.
Okay, cool. So you have options, but it's not like... Okay, cool. That's good to know. That's more of a... Not 50-50, because they like tend to 2K 2D all the time, but...
Yeah.
If you keep doing this to them, they can actually like punish you for trying to reversal here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, it's not something I'm going to do very frequently, like, because, you know, hard knockdown, Okazeme, woohoo, it's what Tasman wants, so I'm not going to go 2K 6P very often, but yeah, it is an option. That's all I have on my slideshow. Is there anything else we should go over besides 2KDD? What do you think, Brian? Any thoughts?
I'm trying to think. There was something that I was just thinking about that I then immediately forgot.
I know sometimes like Nova Strovia, you can like jump out of it sometimes if they mess up.
If
they're doing like mid screen. Like,
if they throw it in neutral,
yeah.
If they throw it neutral, jump.
Yeah, you can just jump over it.
Okay.
Sometimes
but
you might have to double jump if your character's a little bit bulky, but
or like a super jump.
I have a question.
I don't think it's punishable, but you get over it.
So for spacing, right? I feel like there's two different types of Testament players. There's Testament players that like to be up in your grill and like really short range, and there's Testament players who are kind of like mid-range. But are there Testament players that are kind of like long con, long range, just poke from a far distance? Like, what should I expect like distance-wise from a Testament?
So, I think I'm probably one of the stand Testament players in that I play them as a zoner. Typically, I'm the one to be standing probably about here's my optimal. This is an Arbiter side range. Calamity 1, very fun. This is where I can throw Grave Reaper. This is where I can hit you with Crow. Okay, I really need to turn that off. That's getting annoying.
Because of the big hit.
Oh, yeah.
Which is nice.
But this is about my optimal range. If you approach, I can swing at you. I have room to 2H you if I'm baiting an approach. This is my optimal space. I can play a little bit closer if I want to poke at you a bit more, but typically, I personally want to be back here.
And like for me, I can't help myself because I have to interact with people. I usually try to play around far slash range, and that right there, that's the ideal range where I'm hitting that like little tiny disjoint at the end of far slash, like, and then doing stuff like this. That's exactly that. This is what I like to do as a Testament. That's the like rush down Testament aesthetic.
Well, I think it's kind of the gimmick of Testament, is that their plan is to kind of, you know, play the footsies, play the RPS, throw neutral around, until they get like a good stain hit on you or something. That's when they're going to play rush down, that's when they're going to run their pressure. As soon as you're cornered, it's all over for you. Testament's going to act like a rush down character. It's over. You're just going to sit there and hold it.
It's a lot like Testament is basically trying every single Testament game plan is RPS and just like big brackets RPS until stain state, and then you have some very specific stuff that you want to do. And you can also like punish some of that very specific stuff. Like if I think about like the stuff that I have habits of, it's like if I get stain state in the corner, I'll almost always try to run up 5k because I get a really good mix off of 5k with stain state proc. I'll either get to go into my Kara cancels with a dash cancel, or I'll get to jump in and do the like JK or JH kind of mix. You get this as well. That's a true string, or it's a frame trap technically, I think. When you have stain state,
I think there's a reversible gap on like the micro dash, like here for a full of 5k. But that's about it.
And that's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing is like if you see a Testament that has a habit of doing that, you can 6p that 5k. That 5k is just a far slash. Even though you have Stain and it's risky because you have Stain, like they could just 2K you or whatever. Fat Gamer does this to me all the time. It will 5K or will 6P this 5K every single time.
Or apparently you can get hit by the first hit and then press the low profile button and hit Testament.
Yeah, you're gonna have to do some labbing for your own character on that one.
I have one more question. So when you're a Testament and you go into a tournament, are there any matchups, like if you could, if you see that they're playing Kai, or you see they're playing Bridget, you see they're playing Axel, like are there any like for sure really bad matchups? Like what does Testament struggle with, and why do you think that is?
It frankly depends on your playstyle, but in my opinion, Axel, Chaos, and Jacko are all just 6-4 avoid if possible matchups. 4-6 if you're thinking about Testament side. Because of one big thing. Testament has big buttons, has a fireball, but all of these are very slow. Axel, Chaos, and Jacko all have ways to interact at range in ways that are much faster than you. Especially Axel and Chaos, they can just shut down what you're doing. Like I said before, Grave Reaper, neutral, Okizeme, pressure. If you try and attempt it in neutral from anywhere on screen, Axel and Chaos can punish you on reaction quite easily. Those are my worst matchups for Testament.
For me, it's the thing that I really look out for, as far as like character conceptually even, is that if the character can mash out of far/range corner pressure, can you pull up that the far/range triangle for corner pressure? That's like far/6H 2S. So if you're in that range, if you're in that triangle, Testament is happy, right? That's the reason that the Kara pressure is so good, because at the end of the Kara pressure, like if I quote unquote lose my Kara pressure, I'm then at the range that I want to be to do Testament RPS. The problem characters are the ones that can mash at that range. So like Axel, Bridget, Ram is a really big one, because Ram can just sit there and mash far slash and smoke you every time unless you're like being very intentional about it. Those characters, because they have fast long range buttons, Kai to an extent because of Stun Dipper, they're like Happy Chaos I think is a good example. I'm trying to think of who else I typically struggle with, like actually in the corner. May usually with Dolphin. Characters that can actually engage, can skip that RPS, because Axel can hit 2H and it will beat like 90% of the Testament RPS buttons. Like you have to be, I have you in the corner and I have to block, and that's fucked up.
I put Temp into that list because of back Megafist, forward Megafist, and Hammerfall. All of those fuck your RPS.
There are some very, very specific interactions that beat the Potemkin, but that's stuff that like you have to be so sick of the Potemkin matchup that you lab out specifically, and it's not something you're gonna see a lot of people counterplaying Bag Megafist Potemkin.
See, you see this shit? If I throw any of my big buttons, Axel wins.
Yeah, 2H is the new. Faust is another really good one. Faust 2H is almost identical to this interaction-wise.
Yeah, I can't even do Grave Reaper and Grave Reaper in this situation because I'm minus. Fuck this button. Fuck this button. Alright, you see this button? Fuck it. Hate this button. Hate this button.
That is a big extra layer of stuff. I mean, Testament also just has to kind of worry about, all the stuff that everyone else has to worry about. Like, Nago's a fun matchup, but you do have to really worry about Nago. It is Nago favored for the first 10 seconds of the game, and then it becomes Testament favored once they get a high blood.
Block, get their blood high, burst, then zone.
Oh yeah, no, like, it's such a weird matchup because it is 6-4 Nago favorite round start, and then it's 6-4 for Testament for the rest of the game.
It's you literally don't get to play until Nago hits 3 blood, and then Nago doesn't get to play until he dies.
I will say you're not alone in the cast in that situation.
Yeah.
That's very much everybody's spot.
But for the most part, like, those are really the problematic ones. Like, Testament has, has some decent matchups against. I feel like Testament has a decent matchups against the upper half of the Guilty Gear like lineup. And it kind of just depends on your like player level for a lot of stuff. Like obviously, incredible Ramlethal is gonna beat an incredible Testament every time, but like you're as a good at Testament versus a good Ramlethal, like you got still a decent chance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, once Nago gets to high blood, his entire game plan becomes like 5H, jump H. That's all he can do at high blood. He's got nothing else. And I mean, he deserves it, mind you. Yeah, Meg, I see you in chat. I'm calling you out, Nagoriyuki player.
I have been gravely insulted.
You deserve it for playing Nagoriyuki.
We love a get.
Listen, Nago is a cool ass character, dude. But that's not what I'm here for. That is not what I'm here for. I'm here to learn how to beat up Testament.
Yeah, and I think that like one of the other things that like is really worth keeping in mind, like everyone with this new season dooming about the Grave Reaper changes, right? Because I can just spam Grave Reaper as much as I want. There is, if I just spam the fastest like over the ground Grave Reaper, there is, I think, doing quick math, there's a 43 frame gap in between those two Grave Reapers. There's 16 frames of startup and 27 frames of recovery. So that is probably the best dash blocking practice you can get, because there's almost a full second in between the fireballs hitting you.
Yeah, Mega, I'm gonna be honest.
You're just inevitably winning that. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, for playing Nagoriyuki specifically, a lot of this is kind of like broad character stuff, which assumes you have like standard mobility. For Nagoriyuki specifically, here's a Testament matchup. If this doesn't work, it's over. That's game over. That is your entire plan. If it fails, rip.
I mean, you can do like super jump in JH or whatever it is. That's pretty nasty too. The forward, I can't do super jumps that consistently, but you can get like a nearly full screen super jump JH, because the other thing to keep in mind about when Testament is using Grave Reaper a lot is that Grave Reaper turns Testament's turns Testament's hurt box into almost half of the screen. Like,
oh, absolutely.
It doesn't visually make sense. But think of like the distance right there. Like if you right now, the distance between Testament and Nago, that 5H or that far slash, that punishes Grave Reaper. That 100% of the time punishes Grave Reaper, because you just build a huge box in front of you, a hurt box.
Oh yeah, Grave Reaper has a painful hurt box. It hurts my soul. I'm sorry.
Which is the same reason why, like, if you do IAD back Grave Reaper, this happens to me against May all the time, where May will just run forward and do get a close slash counter hit on the IAD back Grave Reaper in round start, and that's just, they just get that for free, and there's nothing that I can really do about it except for not to ever do that round start again.
Yeah, I don't like round start against May. It's like in this. The May Testament matchup is so, but like round start alone makes it so painful, especially with how hard May is.
To be fair, nobody really likes round start against May.
That's true.
Except maybe like Happy Chaos. Nobody likes round start against May. That is
Happy Chaos doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, Happy Chaos just doesn't give a shit. But you know, nobody like explicitly likes round start against May. That is not a thing that most characters can, like, you know, just did not care about.
Yeah.
I do have an additional question.
Mm-hmm.
So with Bedman coming on the scene, what's your experience? I mean, to some people, they're going to get to Combo Breaker and not have a lot of experience against Bedman as Testament. Do you have any advice?
That's an interesting one, because let me just play, boot this up, get a recording set. We'll kind of show you. The problem with Bedman, this fucking thing, this nonsense, this is what they're doing. There's going to be throwing this out. There's me just kind of throwing it out. Very annoying zoning. No one likes it. Pew, 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 doing this over and over. And this is very hard. This is very hard for Testament, because what Testament wants to do, throw out projectiles. and most of the projectiles are going to clash or lose, especially because of how fast the projectile is. So in this scenario, Testament has to play Rushdown, but it might be down to a lack of experience on Bedman players' part, but this doesn't feel that bad, because 6P, stupid, 2K, also stupid. Because I think if...
Jumping in, also very good against this.
Yeah, specifically...
One of the things, I was just going to say, one of the things to keep in mind with this matchup specifically that I learned is pretty interesting is, like, it's very similar with, like, Kai, right? Like, Kai actually objectively wins the Fireball war against Testament unless the Testament is godlike. Because in order to beat the Fireball, you have to either 2K low profile it, or you have to hit it with the active melee hitbox of Grave Reaper. But, so you can never play catch-up, right? Like, if you block a projectile, you have to choose a different option. But the Testament does have an interesting option in the Bedman matchup. If you're seeing the Fireball coming, if your first hit of Grave Reaper blocks the first Fireball, and they immediately cancel into the Error 6E, the second Fireball will also beat the Error. So you can block both of the Fireballs with a single Grave Reaper. Which is really interesting but super tight timing. And if the Bedman is just a couple of frames ahead of you and is like hitting you at a Grave Reaper like this, it's physically impossible to catch up for the Testament.
Yeah, that's really weird timing on that.
Yeah, I mean, the projectiles are so fast, you just have to become down for the most part, I feel like.
It does help that, like, jumping against Bedman's projectiles is pretty effective. Because they don't track that well.
But yeah, typically for Testament, it's just run at them 2K, 6P, because you can just 6P through their projectile.
And you have such fast recovery on your 6P that you probably 6P a lot of the projectiles.
This is a godsend, this matchup. It's just, like, I was initially kind of upset, but like...
6P over and over and over.
Oh yeah, no, this is how you play this matchup. And it also helps that, you know, once you get Bedman cornered, there's not much you can do except try and throw out the circle. Without that, it's like, this is very good, you know. You're just gonna run your shit. Bedman can't do anything. Yeah, so that's my opinion on the Bedman matchup. Not great because of the projectiles, but it's not as bad as Axel or Chaos.
Well, awesome. This is great, Cheshire.
Yeah, I think this is awesome. Personally, big fan of the wage inequality. We should keep that.
Yeah.
And the air horn.
Wait, wage inequality? What the fuck? What did I miss?
You missed it, Meg.
What did I miss?
Hold on, let me just
There'll be a VOD afterwards, don't worry.
I can just like flip through the entire slideshow real quick if you want.
Okay.
We'll just start from the beginning. Thank you. So, how to fight Testament. What's it do when you're faced with a non-binary person with significantly more swag than you?
Yeah.
I should do voices for this. I should do like, hey, what are your pronouns so I can talk shit after I beat you? They/them. Thanks. Hit install. LMAO, they're fucking dead.
What is this?
This is what happens when you give me free time and say, hey, you should do a presentation for us.
Yeah.
And God, can I even do a Squidward impression? I don't think I ever tried. No Testament, repeated Grave Reapers are not good neutral. 6P is not neutral either. Then you got the bird. You got the teleport. Nothing personnel, kid. You got the Arbor sign. You have Nostrovia. Wage inequality in the United States.
What?
Round start.
What does wage inequality have to do with beating Testament? What?
You really gotta understand it. If you don't get it, then, you know.
You see, you have, when you're fighting Testament, you just kind of have to hold the mids, just like you have to hold the taxes.
That doesn't really answer my question, but okay.
The funniest thing is Test is, what, I want to say Swiss?
Yeah, they are Swiss.
Yeah. It's not like they really care about the United States at all. Yep, the new round start, RPS, power canceling, 2H, and the ending frame that never shut off.
Damn.
Yeah, that's about all I've got.
Well, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Yeah, that was. I know I wasn't able to be here for the whole thing, but I definitely appreciate what I was able to be here for.
Mm-hmm.
What, me telling you, yeah, all you can really do is clone Fukio, and that's it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, hey, if it's a wake up call, you know, I gotta learn, gotta learn when to do that against Testament. You know.
Yeah. Oh, wait, I don't think I told you. Hey, Meg, important notice. You see this here? You see this? Close slash in the corner?
Uh,
No, you're at power play now.
Don't mash.
No, I
don't mash.
see.
Don't mash. Don't. I'm not even streaming yet. I'm not even streaming yet. What am I doing?
You're not even screen sharing the right thing.
Ugh.
Mashed potatoes.
This is me trying to juggle between OBS and Discord. I should have just like run on OBS only. All right. Now do you see this? It's easy. You see? Hmm?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I see it.
Don't mash. Don't mash. Don't mash. Don't mash. That is all. All frame traps. Don't mash. Okay. There's everyone in tower. I fight. Just sits here and goes, I'm gonna mash after H Reaper. Don't mash.
We see the flames on the feet, don't mash.
But this applies to you specifically. Because it applies to you as well because you're playing the Goriki Nagori's reversal.
Yeah.
Is it 4C? Is it 4CC or 3? I don't remember. Which one's the circle?
I have no idea.
Wait, hold
Let's
on.
guess.
Hold on.
No, that's install.
Okay, that's the install.
Yeah,
So
so it's 4CC. Okay. This is reversible. Don't mash, do reversal.
I see. So don't mash asterisk. Don't.
Reversal's
don't
not mash.
button.
Reversal's not mash. Don't jab,
Reversal-
don't
I
kick,
don't-
don't slash.
I don't care what you think. Reversal is mashable.
You haven't watched me play with inputs on Cheshire.
Actually, I wonder. No, I missed out.
I have spent hours trying to figure out a way to be reversal safe in this string. It's not fucking possible. I'm so sad about it. You just have to hard call out the reversal and block it. That's really your only option. Oh, this
Oh,
one.
God.
Okay, yeah, you can't. That's the Pluto hard call out. I like that.
Like, this is such a hard call because the majority of people are just gonna hold this.
Well,
What
you're
if, like-
so slow, you have to do it preemptively.
Well, it does win. Even if
Oh my
circle
God.
hits second.
Yeah.
That is
Batman
dumb.
is particularly slow though, so that may be why.
There's some reversals that the reversals are, because they're so much faster than Testament's reversal will beat their reversal.
What happens if
I've run into
Mortal
this
Bottom-
with Pluto a good number of times, where he mashes reversal to counter my reversal, and then I still win because mine is so slow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Calamity 1 is certainly a move.
What frame is it? What frame is it?
I want to say like 13. I don't remember.
Oh.
I've got the thing open. I can pull it up. Calamity 1 is 11 plus 4,
Okay, 15.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Yeah, it's pretty
and
small.
it's minus 38 on block.
Jesus. Nago's is frame 9, and it's only minus 37 on block.
On
So
the
Wait.
right side, you get 19 frames of invulnerability.
that is.
Oh yeah,
true.
no, it's hella info too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I do my Calamity 1? Can I do my card into Calamity 1, please? Yeah, Beast Mortal Bottle.
Oh,
Hard as
shit.
fuck call out.
Hilarious.
Yeah, that is a very hard call out.
If you're mashing reversal while I'm +2.
The funniest thing is, like, if you just, like, hold this and block it, this is the stupidest possible option. Because, minus
Yeah.
38.
Yeah.
Hey, if you
like-
do this shit on stream though, how sick would that be?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you are talking to the person who won Weeb Cup beginner bracket by throwing a Calamity what Rice should not have. I love Calamity 1. It's such a button.
Hell yeah.
So then reversal. I think this loses to DPs actually because DPs are just like that.
Now you have to go around and play everybody.
If someone wants to fight, I'll take on a fight. Anyone?
I'm scared that I'll
Get in
watch.
there. Get in there. Westfield, get in there.
I'll boot up. I did the meme, so I'll pull up.
Put up your dukes.
I can figure out how to work.
Hey, good shit, y'all. That was really nice, and that was with the delays, that was basically right on an hour. We were maybe a little bit over, but
Like an hour, I'd say it was like it took us an hour and a half to get started officially, or like it took between 7 o'clock and actually getting here, hour and a half. We like waited about 10 minutes. We could cut out some gaps here and there for the video itself, but yeah, about an hour.
Yeah, have fun
Hello,
editing
Woody.
out all the horn noises and